Pashaparo, Y7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Welcome to this edition this week. The Tarot Files. It's going to be for the 18th through the 24th. Going to be working with the new deck today. All right. Welcome to the family. These cards are slick. All right, so hope you had a good week. How was everything with you? A lot of activity all over the place. That's what we've been getting used to, though. Lots of action. All right. So you know what we're looking for? We're looking for the core. What's going to be at the core next week, please? 18th through the 24th. All right, 721. It's gonna be 10. Okay. All right, let's get this started here. Okay, damn. One second. All right, so it's going to be the core. One second here. We catching up. All right. And what we starting off with this week at the core is going to be the Ace of Cups. All right. So you guys know we're dealing with emotion, love, relationships, right? Family interaction, self-love, and of course romance and stuff like that, right? So in this case, the general meaning is a plentiful surplus, an abundance, food, right? And keep in mind, I like the way that started off. And when it says food, I think we need to keep in mind that we are what we eat, even if it's knowledge or what have you. Okay, so whatever you're investing in and putting into your system or your day or your life, it's what we're gonna become. Okay, you've heard those sayings. You are the average of the 5 people closest to you, etc., etc., etc. Right? So events is purification, renovation, upcoming is surplus. All right, so let me get some of this down here real quick. You are what you eat. Knowledge included. Okay. Surplus and abundance. All right, so let's take a look here. So we got the renovation, right? So that was like when you was reorganizing your life last week. Looks like it's carrying over, paying off. All right, renovating or renovation. So the business is everything what is related with food, restaurants, catering, beverage sales, business related to with the protection of mother and child, and fortunate business, greatest income. Okay, so feed the people to thrive, right? A lot of people are hungry right now. For very not again, of course, you know, with actual food itself, but there a lot of people are hungry for a lot of different things, and that's what a good business does. Is it provides it fulfills a need, it satisfies a need of the people, right? So I think you're onto something, but let's take a look and find out more information before we go too far here. So a relationship is strong feelings, however, much more from one partner than another. Birth of big love and concern because of love, right? So something you really feel strongly about. Something you feel really strongly about more than those around you. Okay? You're creating. You're giving birth to, right? So I'm gonna say you're creating. Now the health is possible pregnancy, breastfeeding, predisposition to obesity, right? And psychological characteristics are very emotional, generously sharing own emotion, general person on the whole. So again, going back to the cups, it's like self-love. So you're gonna be getting full of a lot of things. Including yourself. And not in like a arrogant way, but in a self-love type of way. You know what I mean? Which is good because you've been needing that. You've been drugged through the mud long enough, and it's time you start to feel good about yourself, and you get ready to give. You're creating something new, and that's gonna be the possible pregnancy and the breastfeeding potential. Again, this is all about the nourishment and the food and the giving. If you look at it, it's like what's in her hand there? Is that a bowl? Is it nourishment? Is it knowledge? You see, is that trail coming in? Is it going out towards you? You being the person looking at the card, So there's a saying that I like to use a lot: the cup must first be full before it can flow onto the saucer around it. So if you consider yourself the cup, okay, you have to be made full. You have to be full of whatever. All right, whether it's money to help those around you, whether it's knowledge to share and help others build, whether it's whatever it is you want to help others with, you must first be full of it. You can't share what you don't have. You see what I'm saying? Even if it's just knowledge or wisdom or insight or perspective, you must first be full of it before you have enough to give. Otherwise, you will be robbing yourself and depleting yourself, and that's how you wind up in situations where you look to blame others as they've drained you. But at the same time, you can't blame them that they've drained you, because you actually gave it. That's forgiveness. We went over that. Check out the etymology breakdown of the word forgive on the YNet 7 channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you have not already. And if you're new to the channel, you know we got a lot of different stuff going on. Check the video at the top of the page. It breaks it down. Stocks, etymology, tarot, emotions. It's all energy reads. So we're practicing one thing here. That's the law of attraction. And these are just different tools and applications of the same law. Okay, so the advice is show generosity and take care. Okay, so share and don't forget yourself. Okay, don't deplete yourself. All right, and then the warning is you are too emotional, you are too generous and caring. Okay. So don't be too emotional. I'll add that. But we already got the basically what it's saying over there. You're too generous and caring. The danger with that, I think why that's a warning, is because you get too caught up into it. Like we just said, you'll drain yourself. All right. So the result is going to be a full cup. And that's how you're going to maintain your full cup. Okay, so let's take a look at that. This is what's at your core. So you are what you eat, knowledge included. So there's going to be a surplus and abundance on your table. You reorganized your life. You went through the renovation process. Not to say that it's complete, but you've put enough in where you're starting to see the progress, you know what I mean? And something that you feel strongly about, you've been working on, and it's starting to come to being, right? It's starting to manifest for you. And you're looking at little signs on Facebook or whatever, where it show you your memories from like 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and you're like, wow, look, I remember when I was there in that mindset, thinking that, and now look where I'm at now. You know what you've been wanting and thinking about is now coming to be, and so you're creating, right? Getting full of a lot of things, including yourself. So now share these. That's like what this channel is. It's like a give back, right? Just throwing myself out there for you. Get away to give back to people, and don't forget yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have been broke, and now you have a way to take care of yourself, and that doesn't mean that you're necessarily rich, or what people may think is rich or wealthy. It just means that you're not where you were before, where you were like super struggling. So that means that maybe you don't want to, pull up, you're starting to enter into a next level. Okay. For example, you're transitioning into a next level. Well, you might have some coins, but if you pull up on Thanksgiving with turkeys for everybody, maybe that's not something you can't do, and maybe that's not something that'd be really smart for you to do, because how much it would deplete what you have, right? So instead, maybe what you do is you give back a way for them to never need never be in need of someone getting a turkey before. You know, you share your opinion, your views, your experience, and some people are gonna grow from that, right? You know, don't feel less than because what you have to offer, somebody or a couple people don't look at it and say thank you. You see what I'm saying? Like, don't let somebody else's lack of saying thank you make you feel unappreciated, because share what you have. Remember the drummer boy. All you had was his drum, pum pum. You know what I'm saying? Come with your drum. If that's what you got right now, keep growing yourself, because one day you're gonna be at the point where you can do more, and right now you're doing the best you can. Okay, so make sure you keep your cup full. Self-preservation. Right now, times is crazy. I mean, they've always been crazy, but right now more people are realizing the craziness. You know what I'm saying? That's always been there. But yeah, you know, you gotta have people right now that they've known you for 2 years, and you got one phone call or text message from them that you didn't initiate in that 2 years. You know, and then they lose their ability to do something. They lose their job. All of a sudden they need you, and now your phone ringing off the hook. It's not until that happens that you even realize. You see what I'm saying? That you shared with them for 2 years to prevent that, and they laughed at you. You see what I'm saying? But now your phone ringing. Or they didn't take you as serious as they should. So now, do you feel guilty because you see what I'm saying? That's the state that you're in. Remember what we talked about last week. You're gonna have people looking at you some type of way. You hot now. Remember, this is what you're building up to. So keep that in mind. This is the time you're in. Okay? They were laughing at you. And now they realize they should have been paying attention to you. And even at this moment, they can't apologize, because it would destroy what the image they built of themselves. So now they got to eat it. It's people right now that ain't talking to you, not because you did them wrong, but because now they realize how right you did them and what they did to you in response. That's why they can't speak to you. That's why your phone don't ring with them on the other end. That's why you feel like they don't support you. It's now that they realize they should have liked you so much, they don't even like themselves anymore. All right, let's see where your past feelings and attitudes was getting at, because that's a lot right there. That's a lot, but that's what you're going through. If you look at your last couple of videos, you've been moving, and it only makes sense that this is where you at with it now. This is what's going on. All right? So we gotta get into your past feelings and attitudes. I think it's good because you made it this far. Whatever it had to happen has happened. All right, we're dealing with 738. So that's 10, 18, 9. All right. Okay, let me get this on the screen for you. That's a pretty good core, though. It's got like a little heart in the middle, right? Let's go back to that card real quick. It's got like a little heart in the middle, right? It almost looks like a heart. So like, again, that's that forgiveness. Like you only got so much of you to give, you know? So make sure you're utilizing your resources right, you know? Because you can't be mad at someone else if you gave yourself away. And also, it's pulling in. Like I said, you got to fill up the cup first before you can have anything to overflow. All right, let's get into this here real quick. Let's see what we talking about here. Past emotion, right? Past feelings and attitudes. You have the Six of Wands, right? In reverse. Which is self-improvement, a bunch of good stuff, right? But let's see what it's talking about in reverse, because the card's general name is the Lord of Victory. But when it's in reverse, it's actually the put off victory or conquest, incomplete achievement, and sometimes failure, right? So you were delaying your own success. Let's see how we got there, right? Probably waiting around for others like we was talking about the other weeks. So the events is success became defeat, failed contest. That's the business. Lost out great amount of money, honorable second place. So relationship was luck, revealed its other side. Now, so you're delaying your success. I'm gonna put missing out on opportunities. Okay, and we're probably gonna see once we get to your past actions that you was waiting on something else, or this was because of something else. Because the health was troubles of complete recovery. Psychological characteristics was forever second, though it's worth more. So again, you didn't have focus on your own self-value. Or worth, you know. And go back to a couple weeks we was talking about how don't let other people make you feel less of yourself for whatever reason, whether it's because you trying to fit into a group you don't belong into, or whether it's because certain people just don't understand you, or maybe you're just well ahead of your time. You see what I'm saying? Don't actually let them steer you off course. Stay on your course. So psychological characteristics, because you always feeling less than, you're always feeling second. So be satisfied with the little things, and that's the advice, right? Warning and success might be incomplete, and result is by the skin of one's teeth to victory. So your past actions, your past attitudes and feelings, right? It got you there. You made it by the skin of your teeth. Okay, you barely made it. Because you kept thinking less of yourself. And if you go back in your mind, that's not to say that you actually, look down upon yourself. It's just saying you thought less of yourself, and maybe at that time you didn't realize it because you didn't know until now. You know what I'm saying? And if we go back to this card and take a look at that, see, this is one of those similar ones where the flame is upside down on the staff. So when you trying to poke out a fire, you know what I mean, you use a little stick at the barbecue grill or something, you're stomping it out. You're putting your own fire out, right? And meanwhile, if you look at that card, right? If we look at this card, the lights, there's like lights or something, right? If you look at it right side up, it's almost like a stage. And it's a bunch of hands there in the background, if you can see that. So they're like hands coming out over the world, you know, out from over the horizon. And the lights are shining down, and it's like a stage. So regardless of if you standing right side up with it or upside down, the spotlights are still on you. You see what I'm saying? Now the question is, are you going to let your torch burn high, or are you going to be feeling less than and putting your torch out with negative energy, etc., etc., etc.? So go back to this, right? At the core, you are what you eat. So if you're feeling this, if this is what you're feeling in to your heart, is that you are less than something, right? That, you know, you don't deserve a Ferrari. I don't know what you want. I want to go 200 plus miles an hour. I don't know about you. You don't deserve, you know, the house. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve that. You know, if you start looking at your life and someone says, hey, you should get a new car, and you feel like you shouldn't get a new car because you don't deserve it. Whether that means, if the first thing you say is, I don't have enough money, you're already you done this. See? You turned yourself upside down. I mean, the proper answer may be not right now, but that's something I'm looking to do. Okay? Because yeah, maybe you don't have, maybe you actually do, but maybe you don't want to spend it right now. You see what I'm saying? Maybe, but if you focus on, if you absorbing, I don't have, then you're sucking in the energy it's going to take to manifest situations in your life where you're going to have to overflow with not being able to. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of stuff right now is pressing against your heart to make you feel like you can't. You know what I'm saying? We got, you know, the mask, the whole situation with, you know, curfews and this, that, and the other. It's a lot of stuff working against you. Businesses can't open. It's a lot of you can't. You see what I'm saying? And if you absorb that in the fashion that's being delivered, this is where you were at. You were flipped upside down. See, the hands appear to be above you, reaching down for you. You appear to be upside down. You felt like you were low when actually you were high. You see what I'm saying? Her position didn't change. Her perspective did. So your position didn't change. Your perspective did. You've always been in the spotlight. Your flame was always burning. You just got to know that you the star that you are. All right? Because once you realize that, you realize you're supposed to have. And maybe what's actually different is maybe you're not supposed to have that Bentley it won't be for, let me say it like this. It won't be for no reason by the time you buy a Ferrari, or by the time you buy that house, or by the time you take that vacation, whatever it is you after in life, by the time you quit your job, whatever it is that you after in life, okay, that you telling yourself you can't, you know, people like you don't deserve, you know, only those over there. When you start doing that, you thinking less of yourself. So whatever it is that you're doing that to, you gotta flip that perspective and say, by the time you achieve that, you will have done a lot of work for a lot of people. Let's go back to that core. I mean, this is very important right here. I see it if you don't. Let me point it out to you. So the core is you are what you eat, knowledge. You're going to have surplus and abundance. Okay, you reorganizing and renovate your life. Feed the people to thrive. So by the time That right there is what you need to accept. By the time you thrive on the level that you feeling guilty of right now in your mind, right? That's what it is. Oh man, I would feel so guilty if I had $500 million in the bank and the house of my dreams and the car of my dreams and my the rest of my family ain't do shit for me. I would just feel so guilty having that life and leaving them behind and shit. By the time you get there, think about the people you done fed. You fed enough people something that they needed, that you are now being gifted or being your life has been renovated with these elements as retribution for your inputs into society. You see what I mean? Like, that's how you gotta look at that, because you do deserve everything. Remember we talked about in the video last week, you have all the money in the world, just like everybody else. But again, if you don't believe or you don't know, then you don't know that you can achieve. And whatever you feed yourself, right? Whatever you bring into your orbit, whatever you fill your cup with, you're going to have abundance of. So if you fill it with an abundance of I can't and lack, you won't be able to achieve. So your past actions had you looking at yourself upside down. That's how you felt about yourself, upside down. You felt the light was on you, but you felt for the wrong reason. Embrace who you are. Embrace your talent. Stop trying to be everything else and everybody else, and look at what's making you you. People need what's inside of you. You see all the hands up there. I mean, if you flip your screen around or something, but it's in reverse, but you see the hands reaching out. The hands are reaching out for you. You're in the elevated position in something in life. Everybody is an expert at something, and to show you how this works, it's somebody right now calling somebody laying on the couch lazy, right? But that lazy person has a value at something. And you know what a lot of lazy people are good at? Figuring out a way to not work hard. So guess what? You give them a project on taking this intensive amount of labor, and I guarantee you they're going to find an easier way to do it. Then you balance it with making sure your quality is up. They may have saved you millions of dollars in a process, all because they prefer to lay around on the couch and do nothing all day. You see what I'm saying? You got to find the value in yourself and in the people around you, because they may not even recognize their own value. That doesn't mean you have to wait for them to perfect it. Find it in them, let them know what it is, and give them time to work on it and develop it, because you open their eyes to it. You don't have to be there when they achieve it. You see, because they're going to become great. The community will need them one day. Your purpose might have been just to wake them up to the fact that there's more to them than they ever knew. And there may be yourself, you're waking up to the fact that it's more to you than you ever knew. Okay, we got a visitor. Yep. We'll take that. All right. So this just fell out the deck. I told you these cards, like, they want to talk to y'all. So what we got going on here is now the Ace of Wands, and this is your past actions, right? So he's still in the Wands category, so that makes sense. All right, so the Wands is the fundament of the fire power. Yeah, all right. So the general meaning is the beginning, source, primordial reason. See, this is your past actions, like, you know, so I like the primordial reason. You know what I mean? So this is the start of everything. Okay, the source, the beginning, right? And that's what we're looking for, the trigger. All right. So your past feelings with the delay your success, missing out on opportunities. You didn't have focus on your own self-value / self-worth, and you barely made it because you kept thinking less of yourself. So your past actions, you know, with that attitude and feeling, that was the spark. That was the spark. See? So that fire was at the bottom of the staff, and it had to work its way up. It was the wick. It was the wick to your dynamite, to your C4, to your dynamite. Okay. So while you was going through that period of time in your life, it was burning, setting the prime for the explosion. Okay. All right. And is that a flame in the middle of your third eye there? Okay. Your thoughts are on fire now. All right. Let's see what we got here. The fundament of the fire power. So the events are the display of activeness, initiative, display of male origin, which is fire, okay, sometimes can depict fire. All right. So fire, the wand suit is a fire suit. Okay. You talk about your Aries, your Leos, your Sagittariuses. Now, this is actually creativity, your desire, your struggle, your passion, your emotion, your goal setting. All right. So you got tired of that situation. Okay. And what that did is it caused you to get into action. You left stagnation and you became active. Again, it was the primordial reason, it was the trigger, that was the beginning. So you left stagnation for action. So that was your past actions where you left stagnation, okay? Fire is really energetic. It's flapping around. So the relationship or the business is the beginning of some activity, prestigious, successful work, creation of something new. For example, art, either movie, creation with the inspiration, sudden leap of income, however might be not for long. Okay? So you're starting to have surges. I'm going to put your surging in the right direction. Pulsating. Right? You got a pulse now. You didn't have a pulse before. You see what I'm saying? What that mean? Right. So the health is either very good or sometimes surplus of fire, right? Fever or high blood pressure. All right. So don't get stressed out. Again, that goes back to making sure you don't be too emotional. Maintain your full cup. You know what I'm saying? So don't get your blood pressure high. Don't get too hot about stuff. Stay cool, stay calm, stay focused. So psychological characteristics are sensitive, innovative, full of energy, creative, dynamic person. The advice is undertake the affair. Again, you got the pulse now, okay? Stop sitting around stagnant. Show the initiative. Warning is, do not lose one's temper. Don't rush the events. Like I said, take your time. Be cool, okay? Because that's when you get to see who you really are, you know? And you're not looking at yourself like this. See, it took for you to be ingesting too much of the wrong stuff to realize you ain't like the taste. And you didn't have enough. And you changed what you wanted. And because you changed what you wanted, you started to get what you needed. And then you went from feeling upside down to now you right side up and empowered. Or is this the close up? See here, the back is to us. We can't see the face. So maybe this card coming after this is really, maybe you are in a situation or were in a situation where you felt upside down. But this is what you had to do during that chaos, that panic, is you had to close your eyes and go deep into yourself and relax and let your thoughts catch on fire. You see what I'm saying? Let your mind work you out of the situation. All right? Don't lose a temper. Remain calm because now you can see. Activate. Don't be stagnant, okay? So the result is an interesting beginning of a new activity awaits you, boosted and inspired state. Okay? Can you say power? Let's take a look at those notes for you. Go ahead and check them out. We're going to get that advice for the present for you. All right. See how this is developing? See how you got there? Cool. 803-11-2. Yep. That makes sense. All right, hold on a sec. That's exactly what you need to do. All right. Because what it is that you here we go again. It's reiterating what we talked about last week. You were in the hermit mode, and you gotta come up out of that, right? So undo. So the hermit is the monk, right? The suspended lamp. Again, if you're looking at yourself upside down, right? Okay. So you undo insurance, interest in the outer world, isolation, inability to understand the obvious matters, fear. All right. The event is exiting the shadow, the end of solitude. Okay, so you coming out. All right. And that actually makes sense from leaving the stagnation. So you gotta take action, right? Take action, which is building on what your past actions was telling you was building up to. So take action. Get out there. All right, but I see something in this card. I'm ready to talk to you about it. So if you look, if it was right side up, okay, it would be like this. And the question is, hold on, can you see that? See, they're floating, right? They're actually floating. They're like levitating, okay? Now, that ties right into what we saw here, because it's perspective based. Now, when you turn it upside down, let's say it goes from being a sky to, now it looks like they could be underwater. I know they're upside down, but let's just say if this is level and they were levitating this way, right? Then you could be the same distance below. And then that's what they call, they're too deep. You see what I'm saying? So your fear, what you've been responding to, is that there's something that you've been specializing in, and something that you've been attracted to that made people, say stuff like, "Oh, you're too deep." We don't got time for that. You're too deep. We trying to have fun. We trying to do this, right? Well, remember we talked about, now they laughed at you all this time. Now they realize your value. That's what's happening next week. And coming from this last week, because there was some similar stuff being said. So what it is that you felt some type of way about that, and it made you look at yourself up until recently the wrong way. You see what I mean? It doesn't matter if this is normal. It doesn't matter if you this way, or that way. You're going to be the same distance. It's going to appear to be the same feeling, but you got to know your value as to why you're in that time and space and they not. You see what I'm saying? So what it say? So you didn't have focus on your own self-value, and that's why you barely made it. You see what I mean? You're the reason you're different is what makes you valuable. That's it. So stop trying to be everybody else. You see what I mean? Like when you was telling people a year or two ago, hey, don't buy that house right now. And they were laughing at you talking about, oh, you just hating on me because you can't buy a house, even though you could. They it makes them feel better. But and you this, you that, and I'm buying this house anyway. And then boom, because you were studying stuff that they weren't thinking about, and the economy collapses, everything crashes, and they wind up losing the house and everything they had. Whereas if they would have stayed where they were at, you tried to help them. Remember what I said earlier. Give them what you're supposed to give them and then move on. Keep your cup full. Okay? Because when that crash happens and they done shitted on you for 2 years, right? Now your phone ringing. Remember we talked about it. Now your phone ringing. Hey, remember what you were saying about that? Then what do you think now? Do you think how long? Can I have? Do you have? You see what I'm saying? So stop trying to be everybody else. Don't. And even if you're not, stop thinking less of yourself because of others' actions. You know what I mean? Because maybe now what's gonna happen is all the houses dip in value, and you gonna get your house that you always wanted for 50% off because it's gonna be so cheap. And now everybody gonna be mad at you because it's the 2008, 2009 crisis again. I don't know. I'm just saying. You see what I mean? Whereas if you put all the pressure on you feeling down about yourself, or that's gonna cause you to try to put yourself in a position to duplicate what they doing when that ain't for you, because you're supposed to be holding out whether you realize it or not. Because what's for you is coming the way it's supposed to come for you. And that's why sometimes you can't tell people nothing, because your perspective is only for your, maybe not for their benefit. You know what I mean? They're supposed to go through what they're supposed to go through. That's the life and path they chose. All right. Let's see what else we got. Because this is really bleeding into the last few weeks, and it's really a good look. I'm really proud of you guys. So we talk about shallow relationships, right? All that's what we're talking about. Unwillingness to see the cause of an illness, right? So again, you were feeling bad about yourself because you just saw the distance between y'all, and you didn't know that distance is what's going to keep you full, keep you alive, and they're where they supposed to be because that's where they want to be. Okay? Keep that in mind. Psychological characteristics: unfounded prudence, fear of solitude. All right, so avoid frivolous attitudes towards the work, self underestimation, right? That's what we've been talking about. Violence of personal space. And the result is start your own way, listen to thyself, and search new paths to reach people. See? So take action, get out there. The reason you are different is what makes you valuable. Stop trying to be everyone else. Make your own way. You see what I mean? So we're gonna get into that present feelings and ideas, okay? I'm gonna give you the notes here so you can look at them. I'm gonna get a little shuffle on real quick. It's really good reading for you. Remember, they was running around supporting everybody but you, right? Remember that. And I don't mean that in like a vindictive way. I mean, they may have forgotten that they invested in a lot of other people. So where are the payoffs of their investments? You see what I'm saying? Focus on you. Because that goes back to the core, right? And the best thing, sometimes the best way to learn something is observation. That goes back to the core. Whatever we focus on, you absorb. So they absorbed all of that activity and energy that they absorbed, right? And now they have a surplus of it. They have abundance of it. This is that time. It's that time for everybody. You remember, everybody was talking about you reap what you sow, right? They didn't realize that they were the ones sowing the bad seeds. You see what I'm saying? But it's not about that, because we're focused on what's good. All right. So remember, it's not about the negative karma. Keep that out of the cycle. All right, let me get this one on the screen for you. I'm still debating on, like, if I'm gonna put the music in the background for y'all, cause I just be being like real selfish with this shit. That's what I be doing. I be having my little music in my headphones, just little beats and stuff. And I'll be in here zoned out, you know. So when you see me bob, that's what I'm doing. I'm listening to my little instrumentals and I'm always in that vibe, right? So let's see here. So now what we got going on, right, for your present feelings and ideas is the 8 of Cups, okay? So here we go back into self-love, romantic love, emotion, right? So the card is the Lord of Abandoned Success. You see what I mean? Now, go back to etymology of that, and success means results. So let's see what we're getting into here, because the general meaning is apathy, silent exit, exclusion, and separation. Present feelings and ideas, exclusion. Okay. Apathy. All right, hold on. Let's see here. So the events is inaction, abandonment of everything to fate. Okay. Redundancy followed by dishonesty, retirement, transition from a work with good conditions to bad ones, income decrease, renunciation of own business. Okay, hold on. So in a relationship, one of the partners drowning deep into oneself, without a breakup. Absence of feelings, lives own life. Practically there is no partner in the family abandonment in the hard situation. Okay? So the health is deep depression, unwillingness to live, suicide, attempt to suicide, sometimes denotes death. Physical characteristics, person is in deep depression, excluded from life. Advice is try to spend time on your own. The warning is you don't want to situation to get better, right? And the result is time of voluntary isolation from the happenings. Let's go back to this. So your past feelings was delaying your success. You feel like you was missing out on opportunities. You didn't focus on your own value. Okay, so that was that was the trigger, the beginning. Left stagnation for action, surging in the right direction. Now you got a pulse. Okay. So then the advice for the present was to actually take. Okay. So your past actions was you got a pulse. You got a small pulse. So what I'm doing right now is I'm looking and I'm connecting the wires. You know what I'm saying? Like on a circuit. You see what I mean? Because we got the core is you are what you eat. So you're going to have a surplus. You're going to have abundance of whatever it is. Okay? So there was a reorganizing / renovation. Now, you got to feed the people to thrive. All right? And you don't always have to be in the light, but you in the light. You see what I mean? Fire always burning. So you're creating and you're getting full of a lot of things, including yourself. This is what it was at the core. Hold on, let me pull this up for you. We can go over this together. Because in the card, they're walking away from the flame, which is a small flame. But they're walking towards the sun, which is a much bigger fire. They're walking towards a bigger light. So the isolation, like you're leaving, you're excluding, you're dropping everything that was. You're tired. That's the apathy. And the silent exit is you didn't even say goodbye. You just left. Let me see here. So the present feelings is you're ready to drop everything. And walk. You're tired. You're tired of trusting everything but your own fate. Believing in everyone else, right? Hold on, give me a second here. I got to key this in for you. Spelled that wrong. So in doing that, you let everything go. Or you're ready to let everything go. But I think the part where it's talking about a deep depression, right? Let me go back to the card for you. See, I think the deep depression in this reading is actually talking about, it's actually summarizing the other cards. See, because when you absorb something, it's got to go inside of you. And in order to get filled up, it has to start deep and then come and fill up the whole thing, right? So first you realize there was a lot of negative, let's just say what you don't want inside that space. So what would you have to do? Right? You were turned upside down for a reason. because then it can all be shaken out. You know, if you're a jar, if you're a cup, like we've been comparing this to, if your cup is full, right? If your cup is full of something bad, you would just turn it over and dump it out. So you had to be in that perspective, so that's why it's always the perfect day. You had to be turned over. You see what I mean? So that you can be emptied out of the wrong everything, the wrong job, the wrong people, the wrong location, the wrong everything. Okay? So you go deep inside yourself, right? And you find a fire that's always been there. You just didn't see it because you were too busy seeing everybody else, wanting to be them. But if you go back to this card, they all saw it in you way before you did. And some of them are reaching out to you at that time to try and help you. But some of them were reaching up at that time to sabotage you. You see what I'm saying? But they knew when you didn't. Then you found it inside of you. But you had to go deep. You see what I mean? Like, look, this fuel was brought deep into you. It started a fire deep inside of you, deep inside of your mind, deep inside of your body, deep inside your heart. Then what happened? You see the light. Now you deep down in the environment, like deep depression. Like, it doesn't. We're not using this word today as you know, when you think about psychologically being depressed. We're talking about you was deep. You was too deep for them. You was so deep that you was by yourself, and they were like, so-and-so don't even come outside no more on the weekend. They don't come out and hang with us no more. Why? Because you were stacking up your situation, because you were working on your abundance so you could overflow. See, that was deep. You was deep into it. You was depressed into it. Okay? You right where you're supposed to be. And what happens when you start to the material in the sun, right? When it's like just out there, it's just out there. But when it took and all that gravity or whatever they want to tell you in school, and it forces and created all this pressure, and it was depressed upon itself, it started to shine and radiate. And that's how come you leaving a little light around and going towards the big light. See? That's the depression, because your gravity now is so strong that like attracts light, and you are no longer the little fire, you a star. Okay? But you always was there. The fire always was there. Remember, you were always the star. You were just looking at yourself in the wrong fashion. So now, what you learned is saying you barely made it out, right? But in reality, it's not that you barely made it out. It's that you did barely put all that together. But see, what that was your training grounds. You see what I'm saying? Remember those mountains you came over? That was your test. That was your training. This is what's on the other side of those mountains now. You see what I mean? Remember we saw that? The darkness on the other side of the mountains, the people, the places, the things that you got to leave behind. That's this little cup right here. Everything that you know your whole life prior to this week is in that little dish. But it took you this long to get to the point where you can walk away from it, because when you inside of the bowl, it's humongous. You see what I mean? When you bring yourself down into it and you stay small and you stay depressed down into that cup, you only can see what's in the cup. But see, once you get too big for that vessel, right? Once you grew yourself beyond the walls, beyond the city, you no longer fit. You no longer can be depressed into such space. such place, such time, such energy. And now you're on to the next level. You stepped out into the next level. We talked about that. And now you have this huge, huge new arena on this new vibration, on this new frequency, on this new level. And you're walking out to explore, but you had to leave all of that behind. The suicide was you had to kill yourself. You not really, but you had to kill the old you so the new you can emerge. Some spiders, some crabs, some whatever. Some, they shed their exterior, right? Because they're outgrowing it. And they gotta leave it behind. So the exterior is what? It's their environment. It's your environment. When you're interior, whoa. Look. The star, the black hole, it pulls it all in. So when you pull it all in and you swelling up beyond, right? Beyond the capabilities that this can hold anymore, you have to bust out of that and leave that environment behind and go explore the greater environment now. And build up to bust out of that environment. So deep depression, unwillingness to live. You don't want to live like that anymore. You're killing the old you so the new you can live. Oh. And that's what you're birthing. Remember we was talking about earlier the pregnancy and the birthing? New you can be born to live. Free. I don't know why, it feels like it needs to have the word free on the end of there. So, let's see what else we got here. All right, so that's how I'm looking at that. The deep depression is everything from you realizing you was depressed with the wrong material to burn properly, to ignite your passion. So you had to clear it out. Like you can't start a fire with wet wood. You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta first dry the wood out, which means you need to have a small fire first to dry out the wood so that then you can create the bigger fire. Look at the picture there. You got to have the small fire first. And then once your wood is dried out, you can create the full blaze on the horizon there. You see? The match is already inside of you. I need you to know that. Don't be confused. All these little thoughts are swirling around your mind. What you need is already there, burning for you. Depress in the environment, the right environment, and the right environment will depress into you. And once you become full of that, you will overflow that cup. You see, because you are the product of your environment. And that is how and why all of that past is your training ground, was your training to go on to this next level. So that time you spent on your own, and this time you might need to spend on your own now, is your catalyst, is your catapult to help complete you. This is your graduation. When you graduate, your parents, your family members, your significant others, they can't walk the walk with you. They can only watch you. They can cheer for you, they can hate on you, but they can't go with you. They have to watch you. So the result is time of voluntary isolation from the happenings. Wow. I'm back. So let's see where this situation is heading, right? Because you walking somewhere. Well, let's find out where you going. You know what I mean? Because you got a good little stride with you. You know what I mean? You got confidence. You're leaving it all behind. And hey, did you set that environment ablaze before you left? Did you just say, you know what? The perfectionist thing you said, and we're destroying everything on our way out? Or is that fire there representing you being clay, being molded and baked into the, you know what I'm saying? Either way, it's your training ground, and you had an exit. You can go out in a blaze, you can go out in a glaze, but you know you're going out, and now you in here, and it's so big. Look at all that open space. I mean, what's out there? It's a lot of stuff for you to discover because you don't see nothing. So you are completely walking on your own fate now, and that's great. There's no landmarks there saying there might be something this way or that way. There's nobody telling you go this way, go that way. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we look really closely, right? You'll see there that there's one cup peeking out of the water, but there's 6 other ones submerged under the water. So you really just said fuck it and destroyed everything. And basically that one that's on fire is all that remained lit. You see what I'm saying? So it was like a destructive exit, but it was quiet though. You know? It doesn't look like it doesn't look like, you know, how do I want to say it? It doesn't look like there was a lot. It just looked like it was quick and sudden. You see what I mean? Like you just woke up one day and it all clicked. Like this might have been a dream, and you woke up one day and in your dream you realized, you know, you the last dragon, Bruce Leroy, and you were like, you know what? Psh, done with this. Got to start believing in myself. All right, let's see where this is going. 37, 10, 18, 9. All right, hold on. Let me get the new one on the screen for you. So what this is, right, is this is the judgment card, okay? And, you know, it's like resurrection / eternity. The old name of the card was the revival of the dead ones, right? So when it's in reverse, it means self-deception, self-limiting. You see what I mean? So refusal to take advantage of one's authority while solving serious problem, repetition of past mistakes. All right. So the business is useless efforts, tough family bond, treachery of close one, absence of perspectives. The relationship is the inability to give freedom or relent. Apparent reconciliation, hit on so others would fear. Familiarity, imposed friendship, right? Health is incurable disease. Medicine helps, however, doesn't cure. Slow recovery, bad heredity. Psychological characteristics is fear of changes, right? Simplicity. So the advice is it's time to change. And that's supposed to normally be in bold, so it's standing out right now. So it's time to change. So the warning is leaving mellow changes aside, which consensus voice is requiring. You are putting oneself into a stagnant swamp, and the result is decision / sentence. All right. So where the situation is hitting is that it's time to change. Because what we were looking at here, okay, when we go back to this card, is this card was actually representation of your past feelings and ideas. You see? Now, I mean your present feelings and ideas. Now the advice for the present was to take action, to get out. Look at how this is flowing, right? Let me put it on the screen for you so we can talk about this real quick. So the advice for the present was to take action, get out there. The reason you are different is what makes you valuable. Stop trying to be everyone else. We got to put you know or know of, right? Because what that is now clarifying is that little dish or those little dishes, maybe the 8 cups was what you've worked so hard to build up, bonds and relationships, this business, this job, excuse me, and you worked really hard to maintain those, and you found something inside of yourself, right, that you didn't realize was there, and now you're acting upon it in faith, in pure faith. You see what I'm saying? And so you stepped out of the world that you knew completely, and you left everything behind, and you're on your way, right, to something new, something much bigger, something that you never explored, but you're making your own way. Oh, that's what it is. You're making your own way, right? Look, that's why you see the footsteps behind her, but there's no footsteps in front of her. There's no footsteps in the picture at all. You're making your own way, right? And then that's what brings you to the exclusion. Okay, so that was the advice for the present, and then the present feelings was exclusion. You're ready to drop everything and walk away. So the advice was to basically go with your gut. You see what I'm saying? The advice for the present was to go with your gut. Take action and get out there. Get out of here where you're at now, that little bowl or those little bowls that you have. Get out of there and go see what's out there in the big beyond. You see what I'm saying? And then your present feelings and ideas is that you're ready to drop everything and walk away. You're tired of trusting everything and everybody but your own fate, and you're believing in everyone else, and you're ready to kill off the old you so the new you can be born. And that's where you were talking about with your pregnancy with before and birthing. That's what's coming out. So where the situation is hitting is it's time to change. You see what I'm saying? And here is the birth. That makes sense now why it's upside down, because it's not a bad thing. I don't know that it's impossible, but most of the times when you think of one being birthed, they come out the bottom, and they come out the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to put it like that, right? So this is the old you either birthing the new you, or it could be exclusion of the old you. You see what I'm saying? Like you're expelling, you're detoxing your old bad you, negative ways, wrong stuff that was filling up inside of you. You took a shit, right? You shitted all that out. Bloop, it went down, or you're giving birth to the proper you. And maybe that's why you're in a lighter, more feeling looking entity there, because all the heaviness is off of you. Or you're dispelling the bad shit. One way or another, both of that shit is thought to come down. Like, you know what I'm saying? You either shitting some bad shit out, or you're giving birth to the good shit. And that's why this card looks like that. You see what I'm saying? All right, so that's where it's going. It's time for change. Na 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 na. The man in the mirror. Oh yeah, you see what I'm saying? All right. So what's the advice for the future? Let's get you some advice for the future. Let me get you this up here so you can see how you got there. Cause it's gonna be a change. Now the key is though. Don't sleep on it. That you got to put the work in, because whatever you focus on, you're filling up with. So don't be in. Remember, we talked about earlier, those people that thought they were in that great position. They just bought the house. They just bought the new BMW at the time, and whatever, and now it's all collapsing on them. And now, as it's collapsing, you'll be able to fill up with much more, because it's like 75% off of everything. I'm just throwing out an example, right? So keep in mind, whatever you focus on, you're attracting. So pay attention to what you're absorbing into your cup, because you're going to have an abundance of that. Remember, that's your core. So now when you give birth, know that you're giving birth to whatever it is you filled up on. Or you're detoxing all that negative shit, but one way or another, it's going to be a change. And if you had a false impression, you could be in for a rude awakening, because it's going to be a change. Regardless of what you think, that's where the situation is going. It's going to be a change. All right, so go ahead and review your notes, and I'll be right back with you with the next card. These cards mean business, don't they? All right. That makes a lot of sense. Makes too much sense, actually. I mean, could it be too much sense? Nah. Can't make too much sense. Can it? I mean, it can't make too much sense. This is, if you ain't know any better, you would think this was like crazy. This is, I'm excited for you guys. Like, whoa. All right, so the advice for the future, right? The moment you've been waiting for is strength. It's strength. You see, so the strength is the tame lion. You see what I'm saying? I mean, right there, that's the old name of the card, tame lion, which is like oxymoronic in itself. I mean, I know it can be done, but who can tame the lion? The lion can only tame itself. You see what I'm saying? Lions are born wild. You're freeing yourself from the freedom. What did it say? Born to live free. So you're freeing yourself from being tamed. And I mean tamed in the sense of you've been oppressing yourself. That's what this has been about. And now you don't got full beast mode on them, or at least you realize the beast is inside of you, and maybe you're flipping the switch on and off when you want to. That's up to you. So let's take a look at what the card means. The general meaning is courage, vitality, energy, interest, authority, great opportunities, action, and endurance. So see, remember where you had apathy before? You were tired, you were fatigued. Now you have strength. Find the strength, you know what I mean? Because the strength is going to give you the energy. It's going to make sure you have the interest. You're going to find the authority in yourself. And when you go watch the video that we did on the channel on authority, you know that the authority is the quote or the book that settles the question. So you're going to become full of the knowledge and all the answers that you need in life. You're going to have that all in your little locket right there, well, actually, I guess that's, well, okay, there you go. You want to say that's halfway between your heart and your gut or something, you know, that's all about birthing. You know what I'm saying? It's a usually a mixture of heart and gut that you're gonna start birthing something. You know what I'm saying? So now events is forced situation to obey to one's will. So now you have control of the situation. You see what I mean? And show power of one's anger or untimely wishes, right actions. You know what I'm saying? So you speaking up for yourself now. Make sure you speak up for yourself in the future. Rather, the business is you're gonna have energetic power structures. So you're gonna be building. What you're working on is gonna become really powerful. Okay, make sure you focus on the power plays. All right, maybe you need to watch Big Board Pep. We be doing a lot of power plays. Tune in for that. So the main company's power, the leading link, conveyor, organization of the thesis, luck. And remember, this started off with your reorganization and your renovation, right? So the relationship is passion, implementation of wishes, strong, bright feelings, one person subordinate to another. You know, everybody's gonna know their lane. You need to remember, focus on the authority, at least for you. Okay. So don't worry about controlling other people. I'm a fan of controlling the destination. Now, open passion for a woman. For a man, open passion for a woman is sex. So health is great. Various energetic practice, self-regulation. Person can defeat illness with his own strength. See, when you find your strength, you can overcome everything. You see what I mean? So the psychological characteristics is consciousness, original thinking, rapidness of thinking, charisma, will, self-confidence, knows how to use one abilities. So your confidence is going up. You see, make sure you focus on being confident. When you took this walk away and you purged yourself of everything and left it all behind and gave birth to the new, make sure you add confidence to that, because don't forget that it took confidence to leave that past situation behind. Don't forget that. Show up, prepare for a battle, totally devote, right? So you showed up, you're on your walk, okay? Here, you showed up, you left it all behind. You got rid of the shit you didn't need, gave birth to what you do need. Find your strength. Make sure you hang on to that. So warning is extreme pitch awaits for you. Don't overestimate one's forces. Don't break down. Don't use only force. Remember, whatever you fill up with, you're gonna have an abundance of. So be abundantly balanced in your tools to approach and attack a situation. You see what I'm saying? So the result is perception and transformation of low incentive. You shall reach your aim. I think that's this right here. So that goes back to this right here. That goes back to your past feelings and attitudes. So the result, the advice for the future is going to solve that issue for you. The perception and transformation of low incentive. See, this was the perception of low incentive. So we're going to transform that into your strength. Remember, what makes you different creates your value. Pasha Pyro, it's Widenet 7, the Tarot Files. Thank you for tuning. The replay.